I know you're trying to be dignified and serene and stuff, but sometimes a piece of music just makes you want to go, yes! And yes is allowed. Yes is a good thing. I'm here to talk about spiritual journeys today. We've been talking about that all fall. We'll talk about it all year, in fact. And as Mr. Anderson told you, Jim Anderson, we believe that spiritual life is a journey, not a destination kind of thing. And I'm going to explore that a little today because we say it so often, but we don't always get inside of it in a meaningful sense. It becomes a cliche. And I'm doing it in part because we're going through our entire life cycle. Youth, childhood, youth, adulthood, parenthood, age, and looking at them all as chapters in our spiritual lives, and each with something to learn and something to teach, not only for ourselves, but for others around us. But I want to pause for a moment and just talk about the whole arc. Talk about the whole arc of that, because when you go on a journey, there are lots of different kinds of journeys. And I want to mention three right now, and I want to emphasize one. The one that most people know of is there's the flight, and I don't mean go to the airport flight. I mean the runaway kind of flight. Flight is escape. Most of the people of European ancestry in this country came here because someone was running away from something else. Whether it was religious persecution or poverty, or a mother-in-law, or a debtor. They were in flight, and they were in such a hurry, and they were so desperate to go, they got on a boat, not a very reliable form of transportation to cross an ocean. Flight is an important kind of journey. Let's put that behind me. Satan, get thee behind me. Of course, flight can also be get out of here when someone throws you out, when you have to leave. Those are involuntary journeys. We'd rather not go. When people talk about the undocumented people here and why don't they go back, I want to raise the question, well, do you think they came here because they thought it would be so much more fun to live without a home? Most people don't voluntarily leave their homes. It's their home. Remember, it's where they were born, where they were reared, where their family is. When people leave, they're either thrown out, tossed out, or run out. I sometimes say, though, that we have that experience spiritually, too. Fountain Street Church and other liberal churches are filled with people I say are those who walked out, cast out, or are left out of other environments. So we all have the experience of leaving something, or at least most of us do. That's one kind of journey. Another kind of journey is the saunter, when you're just out for a walk. Breathing in the air, noticing the trees if they have leaves, or waiting for the flowers to bloom, or just to take in the air. You know what I mean? Henry David Thoreau loved to saunter so he could see things. He believed that the word saunter came from a French term, sainte terre, holy land, that when you walk, that you are experiencing the sacredness of the land. That's another journey. We do that here too, whenever we explore our beliefs, whenever we examine other religions, whenever we say you're free to believe whatever you want, you're free to own your own spirituality. That's a kind of spiritual sauntering that goes on. You read books, you go to classes, you listen to sermons. That's sauntering. The third kind of journey I want to talk about is the pilgrimage. A pilgrimage is not a journey away from something you need to get behind you, or one that is about the journey itself only. It has a destination. Somehow where you're going is important enough to go there. So you may enjoy the journey. It may be a good journey, but you still have a destination. The poet Constantine Cavafy writes a wonderful poem called Ithaca, or Going to Ithaca, and it starts this way. As you set out for Ithaca, hope the road is a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery, Lastrygonians, Cyclops, angry Poseidon. Don't be afraid of them. You'll never find things like that on your way as long as you keep your thoughts raised high as long as a rare excitement stirs your spirit and your body, Laestrygonian, Cyclops, wild Poseidon, you won't encounter them unless you bring them along inside your soul, unless your soul sets them up in front of you. As you can tell, I've already pointed out to how the flight and the saunter have their parallel in liberal religion. What we are not good at is the pilgrimage, the place, the journey with a destination. It's important, though, I think, for us to find our pilgrim nature. It's important lest we forget that there are destinations worth going to. First of all, liberal religion has an historic ownership of the pilgrim story, the one we think about at Thanksgiving, all those people in the pointy hats coming over here to go. They thought they were going to Virginia, by the way. They missed. And they got there and literally started their work in December. In fact, it was very close to Christmas Day, but the people who crossed the ocean to become what we called the Pilgrims did not believe in celebrating Christmas. In fact, it was against the rules. If you celebrated Christmas, you were fined. So obviously we've given up some of our Puritan ancestry. Most everyone else too. But what's important here is that not only history, but spirituality. We come from a Protestant background where people protested this and moved on to learn something else. And we believe in our church here that the truth is continuing to unfold and that we are pursuing it. It is that pursuit of the truth that is one of our destinations. That's important to us, that we keep going lest we stay in one place and think we have found everything that's worth knowing. So we have two good reasons to be pilgrims. Our history as people who moved physically to find new freedom, and people who today may not move physically but move spiritually to discover new truth. But remember what Cavafy said. You won't encounter the Laestrygonian, Cyclops, and wild Poseidon unless you bring them inside your soul. It's important to remember that as we go toward the destination of truth or of justice or of hope, of faith, hope, love, and joy, to use our Advent themes, it's good to remember that we're actually taking them with us as we go.